Welcome back to Rochester Living with Mark Siwiec and Corey James Moran, brought to you by Elysian Homes by Mark Siwiec and Associates. This is episode 220, and another New York State Broadcasters Association Hall of Famer with us this week, Ginny Ryan.
Hello. I'm
How
so
are you,
happy
Ginny?
to be here. Thank you
Yes.
so much for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. Of course,
Finally got the date right.
Last
Yeah.
minute, like you, I called. What was it yesterday? Corey, do you know that we've been working on this for like?
it's been some back and forth, for sure.
little
Honestly,
bit.
has it been 3 months? How long?
Yeah, I think it's been about
4
3
months.
It's fine.
I don't
When are
know.
you gonna
We got a
happen?
world traveler here. You know,
That's
he's trying
true.
to squeeze me
Oh
in.
God, yeah.
Mark, welcome back too, by
Thank
the
you.
way. Should have
Yeah.
opened with that, so sorry.
Yeah, it was awesome. If you get the chance, you have to. Well, you travel, Mallorca. We'll sit down and
This
we'll.
is my aspiration. This is
Yeah,
life
that's the
goals.
goals right there.
Mark and
Oh my
Duffy.
God, Mallorca was awesome. Yeah. So
So Ginny, now you're the Director of Community Engagement at Canandaigua National Bank.
Yep.
You spent 35 years as a lead news anchor at 13 Wham, and then made that transition. Let's kind of start at the beginning, though. Let's start with the journalism career and how you got in there, because this is another one of those you found your calling very young, it feels like, right?
oh yeah.
I know, and that's not really a common story. It is a common story when you talk to Doug or Don. I bet you, Corey, had the bug really early.
No,
too.
opposite.
Really?
Complete opposite.
Okay,
I
all
was
right.
I was very, very shy as a kid, and I just did the college radio station just for fun as something to break out of my comfort zone. And then that kind of just opened up that path
Okay.
for me. So I was the exact opposite of you.
All right.
But you, what was it? Third grade? Yeah.
Third grade. I didn't like school much. My dad had died the year before when I was 7, and I didn't want to go to school because I lived in fear of losing my mom, of leaving her during the day.
Sure.
Oh.
And when I got to third grade, it was a really tough time for me and my family. My mom had to go to work, and she had not worked before, since having children. And it was a big transition for us all. Lucky enough, I got this third grade teacher who completely changed my life. And her name was Miss
Mrs.
Ryan.
Ryan. Oh, there we go.
And she was fresh out of grad school at SUNY Geneseo. And she just had a very open mind, and she was very loving. We bonded over the name. And we were assigned to write our autobiography. And I did not want to write mine at all, just because of everything that happened to our family over the last year. And she said, that's okay. She said, write a biography. Write about someone that you'd like to know more about. And I said, I'd like to know more about you. So I wrote her story. I still have it.
That's
I still
that's
have it,
great.
yeah.
As a third grader, to even have that idea is nuts.
Because I liked her so much and I respected her. And, I got to go down to the principal's office and call her dad and interview him. And he sent me
That's really cool.
photos. And in that moment, I just found the exhilaration of knowing something about other people that no one else knows. And I got to share that with my classmates.
That's
And I
great.
was hooked. I was hooked. And I think more than that she believed in me, that she thought I could do something that I didn't know I could do. And it really got me on the track to journalism and storytelling, more importantly. And we still stay in touch to this day.
Do you really?
Yeah, she's just an amazing woman. And I think every student she ever had feels the exact same way that I did about her.
Where does she live?
In Naples.
Really?
Yeah, and they
That's
come
so
back
cool.
up, upstate once in a while in the summer. And she went on to mentor my husband too, because he switched careers later in life and became a teacher. And when he did, I called her up and said, would you mind mentoring him? And he fell in love with her too. She's just that person. She's the perfect teacher.
That impact.
Sort of
is
like
crazy. It's
Duffy. Duffy is
Yes, very much.
yeah.
You can't fake that kind of interest and care in people.
And,
You really
and they
can't.
kind of like genuine kindness, that warmth, the heart,
The patience.
the patience, yeah.
Things I don't have. But yeah, she really got me on that track. And I found and I sought every opportunity I could to write, starting in third grade, every school newspaper, even trying to freelance a little bit on the side, with the Gates Child newspaper and those kinds of things. In high school through college, and I wanted to be a journalist. I did not want to be in broadcasting at all. I was inspired by Watergate. My sister was older, and she would sit there on the floor of the living room with the Washington Post spread out all over the floor, and she would tell me about what was happening in Washington and Woodward and Bernstein and how they broke that story. And I thought, well, that's what I want to be. I want to be someone who changes the world, Woodward and Bernstein. And that got me hooked. And a lot of journalists of that era, similar story, right?
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Sure. So first of all, this is so inspiring.
Really?
No, it really is, and it's so interesting. And it reminds me, did you read Oprah's biography by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so do you see the similarities? And
Yes.
Because what you're describing is somewhat precocious. Well, somewhat. It's very precocious, in all the best senses of the word. And there's this story that sticks with me about Oprah just going into the principal's office or her teacher's office when she's in kindergarten. She's like, I'm not supposed to be here. And like, well, what do you mean? Well, I need to be in second grade. Well, no, you're in kindergarten. No, I need to be in second grade. And she starts reciting words that she knows. And they're like, where did you learn these words? She's like, these are just words and she was then moved, I think, up a grade or two. And it's sort of similar that like from a very, very early age, she found her calling.
You knew. Well, I'm no Oprah. Let's make that clear. And I'm not as exceptional as she was as a child. But yeah, I think it happens to a lot of young people that they get bitten early and they stay focused on that thing, that dream, that goal that they have. And in some ways, Corey, broadcasting requires that kind of focus and determination because it's a tough profession to break into and stay in. Yeah.
Especially now. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to segue into that right now, but no, we don't.
Go ahead if you want to. Sure.
Okay, so you have, like me and Corey, I have a reverence for journalism, and I have a reverence for deep thinking and long form articles, and it's just every day. There's less and less and less of it. That's got to, in some ways,
so sad.
hurt.
It does. And I have so much respect for the people that are still doing the job today. And I say that to them all the time. Thank you. Thank you for doing it. It's important. We don't give enough props to them, enough acknowledgement because, again, Corey, it's not a financial reward you're getting at all to do that job, at least in markets like ours and across the country. We don't give them what they're deserving of, and it's getting even more challenging. Right, the world is so divisive that journalists are often the target of that, and it's so unfortunate. It's essential to our society. When you have I'm not telling you all things you don't know, but it really is important.
Enormously important. But when you have the President of the United States 2 days ago saying, "Quiet, piggy."
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I
saw that on Air Force One. Yeah. Appalling.
Appalling. You might not agree with a reporter, but treat people with kindness and dignity. But then you've got from the president on down, and just how many times were you toward the end of your career on 13? Were you targeted as being a fake journalist, and were you reporting fake news? Were you caught up in any of that?
Not me personally, but the label was broad enough that we all felt that we were part of it, right? Not me personally. Certainly the company that I worked for did some things that not everyone agreed with, and that did make us targets. And, you work really hard to rise above it and know that you are still making a difference in spite of that, And Doug and I tried to push back a bit on those things, but, it's easier said than done to leave a job when you have a mortgage and kids in college, right? You just can't walk away from that.
Well, it's also, it's all you've known, too,
it's
at that
all
point,
we
right?
knew. And I remember at one point, I had gone to the Poynter Institute for Journalism in Florida, and I reached out to a woman who taught me there, and Doug and I got on a phone call with her and we talked it through, and she supported us but also acknowledged you just can't walk away from a job like that. Sure. Plus you're also under contract for 3 to 4 years, right. And you would be breaking your contract if you walked away in the middle of it, and there would be financial repercussions from that, no doubt, especially if you walked away in the middle of a controversy. They would want to make an example of you. Exactly. So there were a lot of factors going into that. Things settled down a bit after that incident with our company, but it was still there. And, I think at the end of the day, Doug and I both yearned to do something different, to, at least for me, to move and think in a new direction. I'd worked nights for 30 years, and it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, Jeff and I joke, we were married 38 years, but it's really like 17 and a half or something.
With the crossover.
Right, because we were like two ships, passing in the night. But I also wanted to be home more with my family and be on the same schedule.
Yeah, sure.
It was really challenging to be on a different schedule. And if anything, the pandemic introduced the idea of a flexible workplace and flexible schedules that I didn't have. And I saw other people having it. And I thought, it's my time to really focus more on my lifestyle than work.
Corey, can I ask one more question? Then I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah,
but as I've thought about this, you mentioned COVID. And I remember when COVID hit, and suddenly we were being told by the government that we couldn't sell real estate. And we were precluded from doing so. And I went through this existential crisis, which was, okay, certainly there's a financial component, but also like, if I'm not selling real estate, and I'm really good at selling real estate, and I make a great living, and everybody in town knows that I'm a successful, if that's being taken from me, who am I? And as I was preparing, and as I was thinking about sitting with you today, how much has that transition from, because listen, you could not go into Wegmans without being, everybody knows who you are. And not only did everybody know who you were, but also beloved figure and an important figure, because you were one of the gatekeepers. You were one of the filters that were allowing us to know what was going on here in Rochester. And to have that taken from you, was that a difficult transition?
Well, it depends how much makeup I have on first in Wegmans, okay? Whether I recognize. But thank you. That was really kind. It wasn't taken. It was a choice to move on, right? If it had been taken,
Yes.
I think it would have been much, much
Okay.
harder. I always wanted to control my own destiny, and I also was very cognizant of not having my identity so closely aligned with my job that I lost sight of it, right? My job wasn't who I was and who I am.
Yeah.
And I knew I'd be okay because it really was separate from my identity.
Okay.
I felt confident in that much.
That's
that,
remarkable.
Maybe it's a good thing, but it just, for me, I knew that I was always uncomfortable. I don't know to say this, appreciative but uncomfortable when people came up to me. It was like,
We're supposed
thank
to say,
you.
yeah,
Thank you
right.
so much. And it always, still to this day, surprises me when people say things. Oh, you did watch? Thank you.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
I didn't walk in a room thinking they know me. I was always surprised that they did know me or
Yeah.
recognized me.
Yeah.
It's a gift, really, because they're watching.
Sure.
And that's the ultimate goal when you have a job in television or radio, to have people listen and tune in. So I was okay with the fact that would be a separation for me, my identity and my job.
Well, you were a mom, a wife. You had other things going on in your life, which is really great.
Yeah, and I loved the job. I loved it, but I was never in it for me. I was in it for the storytelling and the connections in the community.
Probably one of the reasons you were so successful. Seriously.
thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah, honestly.
Thank you.
I mean, I completely relate to the kind of going out on your own terms because, again, as you and I both know, it's very difficult to do that in that industry,
It is.
radio or TV. A lot of the time you get hey, you've got a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. and, you're done, right? So to be able to actually have it planned and go out and to be able to say goodbye, right? You don't know this, Mark, but I mean, there's so many broadcasters that one day they're doing what they do and what they love, and then the next day they're just done.
Sure.
And they don't get to say goodbye to anybody.
You don't. And because it happens so frequently like that, people assumed that Doug and I were kind of shown the door, that it wasn't our choice.
right.
And you probably ran into that too.
Oh, no, I had about a year of saying that I was leaving. So it was, I really drilled it into everybody.
Well, we did too. We
Yeah.
told our general manager probably a year and a half out because we knew it would be a big shift
Yep.
for the newsroom. And it kind of sat there and, there wasn't a lot said about it. I think maybe he thought we were bluffing.
Right.
But we weren't. But we needed that time to think about what was next for us in our professional lives. But a lot of people did assume. And we'd really tried, for the sake of the station, to let people know it was our choice, that we were going out on our own terms. And we were so incredibly grateful for the careers that we had. People don't often walk away from that if it's a good thing and they're enjoying it. And I wanted to leave loving it like I did when I went in the door. And I could sense that there were days when I wasn't feeling it, but that's normal, right?
Sure. There's ebbs and flows.
But I didn't want to be that person when they walked into the newsroom going, "Oh, here she comes."
Yeah.
It's the countdown. Oh, I've got
Yeah.
67 days left. Yeah.
I wanted to be a force for good until the end, and I wanted to leave loving it. It's like being at a great party, and this is how, literally, if I'm at a great party, I'm like, we got to go. And my husband will say, why? I'm like, because I've had a great time. I want to leave before I've said something, spilled something, or done something terrible. And I think I wanted to leave on the top, at least in my viewpoint.
Was there any piece of wanting to have kind of the transition in place too? I know that's, again, it's very similar. Just wanted to have it in a good spot, right?
To figure that out, right? Because I still wanted to work. I still needed to work. Because I do like to spend money and shop. So yeah, and I don't know if this was the case for you, but after 35 years of doing the same thing, I wondered how those skills could be used in a new way.
100%.
And I really had to figure that out. People told me that they would be used and valued, but I had to be able to articulate that, and it took me some time to do that.
What was that process like? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people that had done it before, and we have a lot of people in this town that have transitioned from broadcasting and journalism to other careers. And I interviewed them like I would interview people for a news story. How did you do it? What were the pitfalls? I asked for their advice, and I began to tell my own story through theirs and figure out how those skills could be applied. Everyone told me, but I had to believe it and see it. And, I got lucky enough that someone recognized that or gave me a chance.
Well, and you landed a great job, obviously.
I'm really happy where I landed. And the funny thing was, I had another offer in town to do something else. And I wanted it over. I'd been working on it for like 9 months. And I'm like, I'm done. And Doug said, Sam Guerreri, who at the bank, said, they've got some things they're doing at the bank. And I talked to him, but I think you should. I'm like, no. And he goes, Ginny, it's just coffee. Go out with the guy. I'm like, I want this over. I'm really ready to move on. And I had to give my offer, yes or no, to this company in that week. So Doug's like, just go have coffee with the guy. So I did. It was like a Monday or Tuesday. And Sam.
Oh, yeah. Very persuasive. Yeah. Charmer. Yeah.
Charming.
Yep.
Charismatic.
Yep.
And I thought, I don't know what the job is, but I want to work for this guy. And at the end of the conversation, I said, this isn't going to work because I have another offer, and I'm not just, saying it to play you. I said, but this has been fun. Maybe our paths will cross again. He goes, well, what do you mean? Like, why should it be over? Like, let's keep talking. And I said, I've got this other offer. I have to let them know Thursday of this week at 7:00 after the news. And he goes, well, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, what do you want? And he goes, can you meet with the president and CEO, Frank Hamlin? I'm like, sure. Met with Frank. Same thing at the end of the conversation. I said, this has been great, but I don't think it's going to work. And he goes, well, why not? And I go, well, if you were me, what would you do? And he goes, I'd come to work here. And we hadn't even really etched out the job or anything. And he goes, we'll call you in 45 minutes. He looked at his watch. And that's how quickly it happened.
Wow.
You
fantastic.
could never have imagined. I could never have imagined that. And then I pivoted. I told the other company that I wasn't going to accept their offer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's really interesting because they're buying into you as a person, really. Because again, you didn't really have what are you
we
doing?
We didn't.
Yeah.
And Sam loved that part about kind of writing it together, figuring it out together. But he knew that we both had needs, professionally, and that he thought we could work together and see where they met.
I like those kinds. Actually, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says that so many of his business decisions have just been made on a gut hunch. And that sounds like the process that both you and Sam entered into. So all right, so you're at Canandaigua National Bank. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, what have you been doing for the past 3 years?
Community engagement. So within community engagements, our communications, internal, external communications, our social media, which I'm really proud of. We have a great team doing that. Our events. We like to party at this bank. We celebrate our employees a lot and our customers. So there's a lot of events. We probably do one a week So our events teams within community engagement, and then our philanthropy, our contributions, our sponsorships, which is really a centerpiece of the entire bank. It's part of the history. The Hamlin's family really believes in giving back to the community.
Yep.
So that's been fun. That's so all of these pieces kind of speak to engagement, right? Communications, events, philanthropy, how we interact with the community, and how we give back. So it's been fun to leverage the connections I had over all these years, attending events and making connections, telling stories. It felt right for me, and it's been a blast. I really enjoyed it.
That's great. So if it's public knowledge, please, if not, I withdraw the question. How much money is, because they are very, very philanthropic. So I'm not asking about their personal giving, but the bank's giving.
Right. So it's determined about 1.5% of total revenue each year. So it fluctuates.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's significant. It's well over $1 million in addition to volunteer hours and other things that we do to support the community. We're a small community bank, so I think it's significant. And we've really worked to make what we do meaningful beyond just money, right? There's other things that we can do to support organizations. And we've really focused on that in the last couple of years. And historically, the bank has done that.
Well, and I love the fact that you're emphasizing the fact that it's a community bank, because community banks continue to be absorbed by larger banks. They continue to be, and community banks have not only are they being purchased, but also it's very, very hard for community banks, I would imagine, to keep up with, say, a JP Morgan Chase. In terms of technology, in terms of the ability to leverage assets. And thank God for organizations like Canandaigua National Bank, which is just doing such a great job of being an old-timey sort of, like, in all the best sense of the word.
It's a throwback,
Yeah.
It's like a
Wonderful Life.
A mom and pop TV station, like similar kind of vibes, right? Versus the big conglomerate.
Well, there's so much value in that. And I didn't fully appreciate the value of a community bank until I started working at one, that decisions are made locally.
Yeah.
And we just don't go by a formula. If that loan doesn't work on paper and the person needs it and we know them, here I'm speaking like I'm a lending officer, but I'm not. But we sit down and we make it work, because there's something about a person's character that should weigh into a decision in addition to what their credit score is.
Jamie Dimon doesn't give a shit who you are. I mean,
Doesn't know who you are.
He does not. There's no shades of gray with these larger organizations.
Right.
These big box banks are it is all computer driven. But one of the things that I really love is that there are shades of gray. And okay, so you may have had, your wife just died of cancer. So you've had a really, really difficult year and a half. That's something that is taken into consideration at an organization
100%.
like Canandaigua National.
Because we take pride in knowing our customers,
Yes.
right? It's exceptional customer service. I've been so impressed by the level of customer service since I started working there. And you got to hire the right people, and they do time and time again. And it comes from the top, right? You can't have that kind of customer service without an exceptional workplace culture. And I really think that they have that down, because the employees just naturally want to do well because the company is doing well by them.
So important in this day and age.
It really is. It doesn't happen in all workplaces.
No, everybody talks about it.
Yes.
Everybody talks about it. And
Yes.
They've got the mimeographed.
It's a buzzword, right?
Yeah,
They've got the mimeographed. Hang in there,
With the squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these nonsensical plaques, in the break room, frame. That's the extent to which they're concerned about culture. So it really is impressive stuff.
I know, I sound like a PR person, right? Which I am. But, the best indication for me about the bank and its culture and its customer service was after I announced at 13 I was going to Canandaigua National Bank, people would randomly stop me and say, "That's my bank. I love my bank." And they would begin to tell me about the branch manager who helped them, or the commercial lending officer who gave them a loan when others wouldn't, and the wealth management team who's been coaching them and guiding them through their retirement years. I'm like, whoa, what is happening here?
Again,
Who loves their bank?
Right.
Well, but I think you know my story with Greg Helmer and PPP. So I think maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but all of a sudden it's COVID, and all of a sudden everything is being shut down, and PPP is being offered to business owners. And there was a portal that was being opened on Friday night. Nobody knew how much money was going to be available. All we knew was that you had to open the portal and immediately apply, because the next morning or Monday morning when banks opened, all the money could have been gone. And I was frantic trying to open a portal. And a good friend of mine, Tom Anderson, says, "Here, call Greg Helmer over at that point in time. You were CNB.
Yeah.
You were still
Yeah.
And I call him. I'm like, you don't know me, but he's like, listen, I'm running out the door. It's like 7:30 at night. I will call you tomorrow morning at 7:30. I was like, well, it's Saturday, and he says, I will call you tomorrow morning at 7. He called me on a Saturday morning at 7:30, and my portal was opened. And I was taken care of. And to this day, I am still loyal to that guy. And I've never actually met him in person.
Oh, he's a great guy.
I can't wait.
We're going to make that happen.
We have to make that happen.
There's so many stories like that, Mark. So many stories.
Like that. That is a community bank right there in that moment. I mean, it really is. You referenced It's a Wonderful Life. That is a Jimmy Stewart-like moment.
Yeah. So the bank, the backstory on that was, and I wasn't there at the time, but they completely pivoted. It was a 24/7 operation for processing those loans. People that didn't normally process loans switched over their jobs because they weren't deemed essential. So everyone, it was all hands on deck. And it's the bank's ability to pivot like that in times of need. And it's the same thing, when they even hired me, right? We're going to get it done. We're nimble. We are flexible. We don't have to have a lot of discussion about it. If we believe in our hearts, it's the right thing to do. And there are countless stories about that. I dare say we probably process more of those loans than any other bank in the community.
That's what I've been told over and over again.
Yeah.
But also, it was a very, very smart and very strategic thing on the part of the bank, because I've heard that everybody realized strategically, if we're doing the right thing by our clients, they are going to be so enamored, so grateful that they will then just stick with us forever.
It was definitely an opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
At that moment, but it also reflected the belief in doing the right thing. And Frank has that. I remember people telling me when I got there, everyone was scared about their jobs, right? Your livelihood. And he said, no one on this call, he did a call with all the employees, has to worry about their job. You will all be taken care of through this. Do not worry about your paycheck.
That's huge.
That's
set people at ease, yeah.
Huge,
Yep.
right? And then he got it back tenfold, right? With how employees rallied around the PPP loans.
And the community. Mm-hmm. Everybody who got those PPP loans, I know that they did not, I'm sure that they did not go anywhere. So I'd love to, go for it.
So you're gushing about this job, and I absolutely love it. I think it's very, very cool. Is there one moment in particular that you can point to that is one that you are the most proud of so far?
Oh, gosh. I would have to say when we give a gift to an organization that really will be transformational. There's been a lot of those stories, but I think the ability to give back on behalf of the bank is such an honor. To identify problems and needs. We supported Rochester Regional Health has a healthcare training program for folks that may not have completed school or were really underemployed, and they enable them to go and get their LPN, their RN, medical tech license. And we supported that program with a couple of scholarships. And we got a video back from a young woman who actually had the phone rolling as she found out whether she was an RN, whether she passed the test. And her young son was playing aside of her, and she was clicking on, going to the website to figure out if she had passed her RN, and she began to sob, and her son's, Mommy, what's wrong? And she's like, I did it. I'm an RN. And, you take for granted that things like that you do and contribute to change people's lives.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't do that alone, but it was to me symbolic of how you can make a difference, and not focusing on maybe big things, because we don't have the deep pockets of a JP Morgan Chase, but how do we impact individual people's lives in a meaningful way?
Well, and in the community too.
Yeah. In that video, I couldn't wait to show Frank Hamlin. And I showed him, and he had tears in his eyes
That's
when
great.
he saw it, because for him, he doesn't get to see all that all the time.
Sure.
He doesn't have the time, but he always is willing to listen and stop. And it meant a lot to me that it moved him to see how our dollars, not a huge amount, made a difference in someone's life. So I think for me, those moments really resonate and make you feel like you're doing something important.
Yeah. So I've got a corollary question, but going back to your previous career, is there a story or a night at the desk that just still resonates with you today? It will never leave you.
Certainly 9/11, right? That affected everyone. But I think locally, the story that impacted me most was the disappearance of Kaylee Polton. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was 4 years old, beautiful little girl,
Yeah.
out riding her tricycle and was abducted in East Rochester. Horrific crime, and it was committed by a neighbor. And I was a young reporter. I hadn't had children yet, and I was assigned to cover it. And I'm proud of that story because it was hard knocking on Kaylee's mom's door.
Oh,
and she was under suspicion. Like, parents often fall under suspicion when a child disappears, right? And, we formed a relationship and eventually a friendship. And that's hard to do when you're covering a story like that. But I'm so proud of the fact that Judy, her name is Judy Gifford, we were able to mesh those two relationships, right, as a reporter and a friendship. Yeah. And it grew over time. And I see her to this day, and I feel so fondly for her, and I have so much respect for how she endured that, because she went on to help other families of missing children. Yeah. And the night that Kaylee was found, Judy called me, and no one else had known at that point. And I said, I was crying, and I said, how do you want to handle this? And she said, why don't you come over to my house? And everyone was knocking on the door, all the other TV stations, but we were sitting in the living room interviewing her. It was live at 11 in Judy's living room to talk about her reaction to this and the arrest of someone in the case. And it had been, 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And the community really rallied around this story. And for me, that was proof that you can have a meaningful relationship with someone. And maybe you were crossing some journalistic lines, but it didn't certainly feel like that to me. But it was about building a relationship and having trust in someone. And so when it came to the end of the story, we still had that relationship that we had built. Yeah. And she trusted me enough to call me up and share that story. And to show it and do it compassionately, right? I was a new mom at that point. And you certainly know you look at things a lot differently in the world when you become a parent. And we bonded over that too. And I'm proud of that we were able to tell that story in a way that wasn't salacious, that respected her and her daughter's story.
Is that online? Because I bet it's a very, very emotional. I bet it's difficult to watch.
It's probably not online because it was pre-internet. I think.
Yeah, there we go.
But we still have it in our files. But I still run into Judy, and I just think the world of her, and my heart breaks for her. But she's found happiness and love.
It's incredible that she was able to turn it into something positive. There's a lot of people like that out there, and I'm always so impressed with them. Be it some horrible crime or an illness of some sort, and taking that grief and using it as motivation. Because I think it would be very, very easy to just crumple up and just, not do anything.
Oh, I know. You'd like to think you would, but I'm not sure I could.
That's a different level of strength.
She really rose to the challenge, and she was a single mom. That's an extra burden. And so that was the story that I think really stays with me.
Yeah, yes, it's beautiful, and it really is, and it is you probably did cross some lines. I'm not going to say otherwise, but I think it's your integrity that that really shines through, and that allows for that to happen. So it's interesting because I've asked any number of other journalists. And it almost always revolves around a murder of some sort, or the death of somebody that has impacted them the most, and more so than almost any other story that they've reported on. So
those are hard stories to tell.
9/11. How difficult was 9/11?
Oh my goodness.
Could you? I mean, did you have a hard time keeping it together on air? Yeah.
Yes, we did, and we worked. I think 17 hours that day, just telling the story. But again, in this community, it was a horrible thing. But 8 hours into it, all these beautiful things started happening. People making flags and selling them on the street, to donate to the first responders, people coming to churches opening up their doors for services on that night, people donating clothes and money for the first responders. I mean, our community really rallied. So in that moment, it also made you feel proud and really good about the place we live out of a really horrible situation.
Was that the last time that we were united?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I was
yeah.
comparing it to what it feels like now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I know. And really, we did. We spoke as one voice. We moved as one. And that was very powerful that we could rise out of something like that and come together, I think. Good point, though, right? We're in a much different place than we are today.
We are. And do we want to venture down that for just a moment? I mean, how do you feel about the current state of journalism?
I'm sad. I worry about the future tremendously, what's going to happen. It's not the journalism that I came of age in, right? We never shared our opinions.
It's facts, yeah.
Yeah,
it was the Cronkite.
facts. Yeah. We like to think that we're objective, but certainly we're human. There are things that seep into your coverage, whether you want to admit it or not. We make judgments, and we are filters, right? What's important, what's not. But it makes me sad about the future. And I personally don't like to view news when I'm getting someone's opinion. I'm old school like that,
yeah.
you know? Everybody has an opinion. I want the news. I want it straight. And my husband will probably tell you how it drives him nuts to sit in the living room with me.
So you're still watching? What do you watch?
Oh gosh, I listen to podcasts more than I watch because I'm in my car a lot, and that's interesting. Have you listened to a variety of podcasts, even though you think how the viewpoint is different, and just even the story placement and the story selection is so different? I love to juxtapose the Wall Street Journal and NPR in the morning. Oh, so different, really.
Yeah.
You know how they choose to present the news. You're still getting the news, but there are stories on the Wall Street Journal that you'll never hear in NPR, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. But I got to be honest, I've never never tuned into Fox. I just, I will admit that I just can't do it because it seems to be, and I probably should, but what do you?
I mean, that was what my dad always said was, at least when things kind of shifted and it became more of there's a lean to everything.
Right.
You want to sample a little bit of everything just to find where that middle was.
Yeah.
Because if you get stuck in that echo chamber, and I think that really is the crux of a lot of what's wrong right now. People get into that echo chamber and they have that whatever belief they may have, and they are completely unwilling to even hear any other side of it. And I think, discourse is dead.
100%. Very well said. It is. And why not stretch ourselves? Sit down and listen to someone else, right? Hear both sides. We don't want to
even if you don't agree.
Anymore. Yeah.
And also, if you don't agree, doesn't mean you have to hate them.
Yes.
And I think it's one of the reasons why it is that I really enjoy the Wall Street Journal. I might not agree with everything, but I feel as though they are conveying a news story and not an opinion. And I might not necessarily agree with the way that its placement or whatever, but at least I don't feel as though it's propaganda.
It's my go-to. It really is the Wall Street Journal.
And it hasn't. It's become from like this stodgy, like boring.
Yes.
And over the course,
I had a hard time reading it through years ago. I really did.
I couldn't. Yeah. I really couldn't. Like, I mean,
he's way smarter than me.
He's doing the puzzles.
Yeah. I couldn't wade through it just because it was like drinking sand.
Yes.
But it really has become an enjoyable read. Yeah. Yeah.
They tell great stories.
And they needed to. I mean, because they really are at this point in time, they're storytellers. And I think they do a really great job. So, yeah. What other podcasts are you listening to?
Oh, I love The Daily from the New York Times.
It's pretty good.
It takes a deep dive, and it's really reporter driven, and I love hearing the reporters, backstory on things.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal, NPR. How
about non-news?
Fresh Air. No.
No non-news? You're
Really?
all news? You're all news?
I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the third grade. I mean, come on.
Well,
yeah.
because I don't have the time in the morning to read the newspapers like I used to, I feel like I'm getting my news in that way.
Sure.
Yeah, I probably should listen to
Are you listening to it at normal speed, or are you listening to it at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4?
No, I've never considered
Thank
speeding
you,
it up.
Jenny. Thank you.
Does he speed it up?
Yeah, he's a psycho.
I need to. I need to absorb.
Wow.
I need to absorb a lot of information.
Wow.
I'm listening to a biography of Napoleon right now. Do you think I'm going to sit through
I would definitely speed that up.
28 hours? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not sitting through 28 hours of this.
I will listen to this, and it will sound like a chipmunk, but I will listen to this.
But actually, what I have done and what I've realized with this book is that I've had to go back to like chapters, and then I've also had to like go to ChatGPT and just say, okay, can you tell me, like, it seems as though there's a lot going on in Europe between like 1790 and 1810. Can you tell me specifically what's going on with England, what's going on with France, what's going on with Russia, the Italian states, et cetera, and that's been a nice, that use
Context.
of technology and like being able to contextualize what it is that's playing out in Napoleon's world and what's playing out in Europe as a whole, and it was very interesting.
So
So,
he's really not saving time. Right? 'Cause he's going back.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he's diving deeper.
Yeah.
but I'm absorbing more. So do
Yeah.
you listen to books on tape or Audible?
Yeah. No, because I'm in my car and I'm doing the podcast thing.
Okay.
I got my Kindle and I read books that way, which
Okay.
I love.
What are you reading right now?
Oh gosh, it's Buckeye by Patrick Ryan. It's okay. I think it's the #1 book right now on Amazon.
Is it
It's
fiction?
not feeling. Yeah, it is. It's not
that's why I
feeling
don't
like the
know it,
#1 book to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys reading?
More audio. Let's see. I was listening to Ryan Serhant's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the start of that one. So kind of interesting.
What is the name of it?
Sell It Like Serhant. So he's this
Okay.
massive real estate agent in New York City.
Oh, perfect.
Who started as apparently a theater geek with no confidence.
And then he became a hand model.
Yes, the hand model.
Yeah, he became
Well,
a
that
hand
sounds
model.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you?
So far, so
what
good.
are you reading right now?
The book on Napoleon, I'm listening to it,
right.
and then I've got all my podcasts, but then there's just these deep dives, just constantly just trying to figure out something. A lot of business books. Actually, the next one that I'm really anxious to read is the Andrew Ross Sorkin 1929, and it's the lead up to.
What speed are you gonna listen to it at?
That one will do like one,
Triple.
1, 2, 1, 3. But then again, you know what? It's that dreamy Andrew Ross Sorkin. I may have to just listen to it at normal speed.
Okay,
Yes,
gotta
all right.
cut it
It's
out.
for
Yeah, just like
for the chords.
listen to it 2 or 3 times. But there's just so much. But there's never enough time.
Have you read Strength to Strength by Albert Brooks?
No, I don't know this book.
Highly recommend it. Corey's too young. It's really about second half of your life and finding
It's coming.
deep purpose and meaning. And the idea that your skills, the things that got you there, shift over time. And how do you pivot as a person? Wonderful book. I'm going to buy it for you. I'm going to send it to you.
I'm opening up because I'm reading something right now that I'm going to get to
It's
you.
an excellent book, and it really got me thinking about what was next for me. I read it way in advance of me making the decision to leave broadcasting.
It's not strength. It's from strength to strength.
Okay, yeah, Strength. I didn't said it right.
I'm listening to it right now.
Are you really?
It's incredible.
I
love this.
him. I love this guy. Albert
It's a
Brooks.
great book.
Isn't
Yeah,
it great?
I've got Audible credits to burn. So
No,
I can-
no, don't
you're
listen
too
to it.
young.
Yeah, you are. You really are. Seriously.
Gotta wait.
Isn't it very enlightening? I mean, I know some of it seems obvious enough, but it does give you pause to reflect and think, what's next? Because so often we just take it for granted that it's going to come what's next, right?
Yes.
But you really have to be proactive about it and verbalize what you want to happen, I think.
I completely agree. And I love this whole notion that the first half of your life, you're trying to identify who you are and you're trying to build your career and you're going after the goal. And the second half of your life, you begin to just slow down and you begin to take all the skills that you developed and you start to give back to the community. And I love that.
I love that
I am a terrible teacher. I mean, like I'm a really, really bad teacher.
I don't think
but
so.
it turns out I'm a really, really good mentor. And I didn't realize that there was a difference between the two. And I've been mentoring a lot of the agents at the brokerage over the course of the past year. And this book talks about just that. And it's just it's a really nice read.
It's a really nice read. I love the way it opens, too, on the airplane.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who couldn't? Everyone can relate to that. Well, like a
How long do I have to
California-
wait? 10 years? How many years before I can read this book?
Oh, you got
how
at
old are you
least
now?
20.
Yeah, I was going to say.
At least 20.
I think you got 20 years, but yeah. You know what? You got 20, 25 years minimum. Yeah, the kids have to be out of school.
Put it on your list.
Siri set a reminder.
All right, wait, so we seem to have naturally just gravitated toward that which we talk about at the end of our interviews. Corey, I'm going to turn to you. What are you listening to? What are you? Oh, there we go.
I've got one.
Go for it, bud. Yeah.
One last one.
Yeah.
Favorite Rochester tradition.
Ooh.
Favorite Rochester
This
tradition.
could be anything. It could
man.
be festival. It could be food. It could be whatever.
Oh, I love the St. Patrick's Day parade. Okay. Hello, Ginny Ryan.
There you go.
I think that is my favorite Rochester tradition.
What is it about the parade that you love so much?
Well, I'm Irish.
Oh, okay. It's just all that Aaron Go Broad.
Yeah. So my grandfather's brother was the father of Tom Ryan, the longtime mayor of Rochester.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, we have that. Yeah,
that's
so
great.
it's a proud tradition in our family to celebrate that.
It's also for me. I haven't gone since I was in Buffalo. I mean, like that is like. Can you imagine the St. Patrick's Day parade in Buffalo?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Everything in Buffalo's over the top, crazy.
oh my God! And I haven't been to a St. Patrick's Day parade since then. But one of the things I really love about knowing the parade is coming is it's like the arrival of the first tulip or the first hyacinth. It's like it's a moment of hope. Like, okay, we're almost through to
made
the
it.
end of exactly. We've
It's
made
usually
it.
storming on
Sometimes.
St. Patrick's Day.
There's been some chilly St. Patrick's Days.
Yeah,
It can
yeah.
go either way, Corey.
Yeah, very much so.
What's your favorite tradition?
I was gonna go there.
See, for me, the garbage plate.
Okay, never had one.
What?
Wow.
I know, I feel really bad.
It's been probably years for me, but still.
Well, now I mean it's impossible, obviously.
Have you had
but,
one?
I had half of one,
Okay.
or maybe a quarter, but like I was like,
It's not my thing.
not my thing either. I started eating, I was like, okay, and like I think I threw it out, and like that was that. I
I think actually, let me amend it. I think my favorite tradition is telling people about the garbage plate. Now that I think about it, because I talk about this all the time. We bring people in from out of the area for job interviews. We do a little tour of Rochester, and that's obviously something that's one of my talking points.
Right.
And being able to describe to them, and just in my mind knowing this sounds so disgusting, but knowing how delicious it is, there's just a fun little parody of it.
So their eyes blow up.
So that's how it is that you are encouraging a corporate executive.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
Garbage plate.
that's your go-to.
Yes, very much so.
We have
Yeah.
garbage plates.
Yeah, 2 cheeseburgers. All right, make sure. No, not the hots. That's not a real one. You got to do the cheeseburgers.
my God.
Hot
Oh,
sauce on
really?
top.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, apparently it's working for you, Corey.
Listening to, reading, watching anything?
New show on Netflix, The Beast Within.
Oh, yeah,
Have
yeah.
you watched that yet?
it
Claire
about?
Danes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is it good? I've heard about it.
So it is the story of this mother who is a famous author, and her son dies in a car accident, drunk driver. And you pick up kind of where she's just a mess. And she's living this very affluent neighborhood, and there's a new neighbor that moves in who is this like billionaire that the rumor is he killed his wife. And talk about journalism. Not really a spoiler, but to the point where I am now, I'm like an episode and a half and 2 episodes in, she decides that she wants to write her book about him.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so far really good.
All right.
Oh, that's
really
great.
I like it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
I like it. You watching Diplomat?
No.
Did you watch that?
I did watch a season of Diplomat. Yeah, I might get around to like a lot of things
I
were
didn't love
suddenly
the
released.
first season. I got more into it
Okay.
towards the end.
There's a new series, only 4 episodes, which is kind of nice actually. And it's on the election of and the assassination of James Garfield.
Oh.
And
What's
it's
it on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And I'm really enjoying that. I'm really. I read.
I'd like to see that.
I read the book a few years ago, and what's really interesting is the book deals nothing with the election of Garfield. And how it is that he came to power. It deals, actually, it's really fascinating. The book deals almost exclusively with from the point in time when he's shot and how it is that they try to save him. And Alexander Graham Bell is brought in. Why? Because he had invented one of the first metal detectors. And so they're using a metal detector to try and find,
the
but it's
bullet.
not, but they don't realize until after he's died that the reason the metal detector didn't work was because of the springs of the mattress. They were all metal. And so, and then
oh my gosh.
and then Joseph Lister, he's nobody realized at this point in time the importance of washing your hands, and like so people one after another are just like putting their hands into the wounds like every single day, just like trying to find the bullet, and like just
you lost Ginny.
yeah. I mean, like, it's really so the book itself is really fascinating, but I got to say that the series itself, so it's definitely worth checking out. What are you watching?
We're watching Boots now. We just finished Diplomat. It's good.
It is good. Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I haven't. No, but I've heard such great things.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We have a hard time finding a show that we both want to watch. I don't know if you have that challenge.
No.
Do you have this challenge? Do you guys watch it together exclusively?
Oh yeah, you can't cheat on each other.
Okay. My wife, notorious.
Does she cheat?
She's a cheater. She's a cheater.
Because I will fall asleep first.
Yeah.
And then we'll start watching it the next night, and there's like we're 2 episodes ahead. Like, what happened? She's like, well, you fell asleep. Like, all right, so we don't really.
Courtney, you're a cheater.
It's one of her worst qualities.
Yeah.
It's betrayal.
It truly is. It truly, truly is.
All right, wait. One last question, and then we'll wrap this up. Morning show. Have you watched Morning Show?
Yes, and that's one of the things I'm watching on my own. I resisted at first. I'm like, I feel like,
a little too close.
I've seen so many shows
they
about
look
this.
so. I mean, like you and Jennifer Aniston, like you look so. It's so much alike.
Okay, that's gushing. That's
Told you
gushing.
flawless
That is
skin.
not accurate.
Yeah.
That is not accurate. But I'm enjoying it. It's a little over the top, but yeah, it's fun to watch.
It is. I mean, I watch it primarily because of those sets. Like every time they walk into somebody's apartment or their house, I'm like, the furniture and like, oh my God, and like the buildings and then
Those
the clothing.
little apartments in New York City, they're huge. Don't
Right,
you?
Oh
know
my
that?
God!
It
And Jennifer
must be
Aniston's place is like insane.
I know. The
Or
penthouse.
their offices. The offices are like so perfectly appointed, and then the clothes are
clothes. Yeah, I know, the clothes are
like
phenomenal.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had that kind of a budget, didn't you, for wardrobe?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Been my penthouse?
Well, Ginny, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun.
Really appreciate
it. I'm glad we finally got it together, Mark.
I mean, if people only knew like how, but you're a good friend who have stuck with me through all that. So
this
thank you
was
so
so
much,
fun.
Jenny.
Thank you for your interest, and it's really been fun to be a part of this conversation.
And continued success. I'm so glad that you didn't leave the desk and then just disappear. The role that you play is such an important role, and we're just so glad that you remain just such an important presence in our community.
And likewise, same to you.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
And thank you for watching and listening. We'll talk to you again next week.